Welcome to GoFormative Math Help number 20. I'm your host, Mr. Slick. Can you tell I've done so many of these that they're not any better than like the first? I figured they would get better. They're not. They're sorry you have to endure this, but this is the best you get while I'm not able to be in front of you. So, for those who need help, we're on decimals, and we are subtracting decimals this time. On GoFormative 19, we added them. We'll do some adding in here as review, but we're going to subtract this time. It's important to remember that when you're subtracting decimals, you line up the decimals. So we're going to line them up. Most of you will do this in your calculator, and you will not be lining anything up. However, if you want to know how to do it without line up the decimals when you add or subtract. This is not the case when you multiply and divide, but when you add and subtract decimals, line them up. All right. I was like hoping my line would be straight with that. All right. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 9, I can't do that. This takes us back to like elementary. If 2 can't take away, 9 from it, then I have to, borrow or whatever. So 12 minus 9 is 3. 7 take away 0 is 7. The decimal comes down, and that's why you're looking for this answer here. Notice the 0 is not there. That's okay. Okay. Especially on a calculator, the calculator's not going to say the 0 there. So when you do your subtracting, just line up the decimals. I'm not sure you need another explanation than that. Just line them up. Maybe I'll do that one for you. 95.35 minus 6.091. If you ever see that, just put that invisible 0 there. And now we're subtracting. Start with this first thing. What does 0 take away 1? We can't do that. A lot of kids, what they do is they just put a 1 down. 0 minus 1, it's 1. That's not how subtraction works. Just because there's a 0 there, that's not how it works. We do need to borrow because you can't take 1 from nothing. And so that is, 1 doesn't go there. I do see that a lot though. So borrow from this number here. So this is, 4. And we're going to borrow. Now it's actually not a 0, it's a 10, right? You see the 1, 10. So what's 10 take away 1? Now we can actually do that. 9. And then we go to our next one. What's 4 take away 9? Can't do it again. Cross it out. Cross this out. Make it a 2. Put a 4 there. What's 14 take away 9? 5. Can 2 take away 0? Yes, we can. The decimals drop down. Can 5 take away 6? No, we've got to do the whole deal again. 15 take away 6 is 9, and 8 take away nothing is 8, and you're looking for something like that, which is what we have right there. That's for people who want to do it by hand. Please practice. I think it's important to know how to use a calculator and be able to do it, but I also think it's important to know how to do it by hand. If you know how to do it by hand to the point where it's like, ugh, this is so annoying, there's so many, and I do know how to do this, then just bust it out with a calculator. The only problem with saying that is as soon as I say that, the kids who don't know how to do it by hand are like, yeah, I know how to do it, and then they just use a calculator, and they don't really know how to do it. So it's important that you just try a couple. How about you try one by hand, and maybe not the one I did. Try something else. That's a good thing to do. More subtracting, and then we switch over to addition, line up the decimals. We did that in the previous one. If you need to see an example of this, just play the previous video, number 19. I show that. I even show how to do that in the previous video. Please look that up, number 19. This one I did not show you mixed numbers. I can show you that now though. So 1 1/3 plus 2/3. It's wise to put the mixed numbers into the improper fractions And I did teach a trick on how to do that quickly. It was 1 time. It's called a C move, but you can do whatever. 1 times 3 is 3, and then you're going to add the top number. So 1 and 1/3 becomes 4/3. Now, if you're like, wait, hold up. How did you do that? Another way to think about it is if 1/3 is a piece and this 1 is a whole, what is a whole of 1/3? You could think of it like this. 3/3 is a whole, because 3 divided by 3 is 1, plus the 1/3. That is another way of looking at that. And if you do that math, it is 4/3. So the fast way to get to 4/3, if you're wanting to turn mixed numbers into impropers, is to recognize this. You can take the 1 times 3 right here, which is 3, and then add the top number, which is 4. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and then keep the bottom number the same. So 4/3, which is another way of doing that. Plus 2/3. Now we have the same bottom number, so the bottoms don't add. We just add the tops. 6/3. 6/3. And I wouldn't leave it at 6/3. What is 6 divided by 3? And that is why that answer is there. Questions on that? No, you can't talk to me. It's a video. Okay, all right. Multiplication. We need to multiply straight across. 7 times 5 and then 9 times 9. And that's why that answer is there. Same thing. This is actually multiplication. I don't know if you remember, but parentheses is multiplication. So 5 times 7 on top, 7 times 9 on bottom, gets you a big fraction, something like this. Something like this. If you throw that in your calculator, 35 divided by 63, it'll spit out, that decimal, okay, that I'm pointing at, this one. Sometimes kids like to see, notice that 5/7 times 7/9, that the 7s can cancel, and then the answer is 5/9. It's a beautiful 9. And 5/9 is 0.55555, which I did teach the 9ths to my students. They should have all the 9ths memorized. I taught that in a previous one. Try to get the bottom numbers the same. If you go to video number 19, it does teach this. You need the bottom numbers the same before you can subtract. And then once you get that fraction, you're going to have to divide it, get the decimal, and then know the percent. And that's why these are in percent. Same thing there. Here, this is saying solve, although I'm not sure what it's saying. It just says 1/2 and 1/5. That's 2.5. That's really good. I'm just going to, goodbye. 9/2 divided by 3/2. In the last video, I taught keep, change, flip. Go check it out. Get a little keep, change, flip in your life. Here's an advanced way of doing some keep, change, flip. I would do keep the first one, change the sign, flip the second one. Notice that the 2's can be canceled. Boom. And notice also that 9 divided by 3 is 3, which is why this is 3. That's kind of the advanced way. You want a different way than that, go check out video number 19. I explain it. I also show how to graph in that video. Please check that out. Subscribe to my YouTube. Click in the top corner. How do I explain this in words? Start at 1 on the y-intercept, then go up 1/4. Start at 1 on the y-intercept, go up 1/4. And this one, remember, the only letters that can add are the same letters. So a plus a is 2a, 2a plus 2a is 4a, 4a plus 2a is 6a. And that's it for the a, 6a. That's why 6a is in my answer. 3b plus b is 4b, plus another 3b is 7b. So that is why a's and b's can, these don't add together. They're separate, but all the a's can add and all the b's can add. So keep that in mind. Some kids have put like 13ab. That's not, we can't do that. If they're not together in the same letter, we can't do that. And you guys can try that one on your own. This one is solve and graph. I did an example of that on 19 if you can see it. And the last problem here. What do you want to do after you graduate high school? You can list colleges you want to attend, programs you're interested in, joining, jobs you're interested in getting paid for, or any career you wish to have if you already have an idea. Please don't leave this blank or say you don't know. I'm just looking for something on that, what aspirations, desires, or something you have. Even if you said, I don't want to go to college, I want to be a musician. I mean, just tell me something I want to know. Don't leave it blank. Thank you. And that's your video. Night.